Right then, hello and welcome back. So as I said last time, I was just going to do a bit of work off camera. So what I've done is I've just dropped these standoffs down slightly, and I found the easiest way to do that was to cut them with a razor blade and then just file them down nice and flat. And also I've put the two power leads in that are just coming out to here. They're quite long at the moment. I'm going to cut them. I'm going to work out where I need them for the battery and then cut them. So that's all I've done really. Oh yeah, I've also shrunk the ESCs and then put a bit of shrink hose around here so that it just gets a bit of strain relief for the signal wire. I've closed JP1 on each ESC with a bit of solder to enable one shot. So today I'm just going to connect up the bits and pieces to the power, so the motor power, and I'm going to put in the flight controller board, and then we'll see what else we get done. So hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so first of all I'm just going to drop the back right motor into this front left hand side here, because when this extends it's just long enough. Tin this pad for the next motor I'm going to put on. So now that should just be able to close up and open up like that. Right, so that's everything soldered up. I'll just go off camera and just check everything's okay and I'll come back. Okay. Right, so for this next bit, the actual servo power for the servo, there isn't actually anything on here to power the servo because this is just signal and ground pins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the power and ground off here and I'm going to connect it to the 5V output that is on the PDB. So I'm just going to separate them wires and then cut them and solder them in place. I'm going to do this off camera because it might take a while. So brown is your ground here and your red is plus volts. That can just get tucked in there. Right, so now I'm going to add in some wires for 12 volts for the video transmitter. These are just going to be like extension wires, so I'm just cutting them to a longer length right now and then just leaving them long until I need to do the next bit. So they just come out the top to provide power, quite long. So I think that's about it for the power distribution board. So I need to put this connector back through now. So that's everything connected up in there, so we can put the lid on that now. I think that's pretty much finished for now. So here's a flight controller. I've put 90-degree pin headers on mine. I haven't soldered them yet, so I'll just solder them up now. All I'm going to do is I'm going to solder the first 5 pins, because I'm not actually using the final pins, so if I ever want to remove some, it's easier just to not solder them. So from what I understand here, the servo goes into 1, you then skip 2, and then 3, 4 and 5 are for your motors. So I'm just going to solder these up now. The way I normally solder pin headers is solder the first one, then solder the last one, and pick up the pin header and just hold it in your fingers and push it towards the board, and just heat each pin again. That makes sure it's pressed in firmly, and then redo the rest of the pins, but go at alternate ends so that you don't overheat the board, because if you go along you build the heat up in the board. So if you just separate, so you do either end. And that's it. So if you look on this particular board, the pins on the inside of the board are signal and the pins on the outside are ground. So we're not using the grounds, we don't need them, so I've only soldered the signals up. That's it. We can take this connector off because I've already put one into the quad, as you've seen. I've also made 3D printed a new mount, because this board is smaller than an A. This board's actually smaller than an A's, so it's got a standoffs. Put some standoffs on it so that the plugs can still fit, and then I've just tapped these out to M3 and just using some M3x10 cap heads to hold it all together in each corner. And then that will just be double-sided in position on the body there, with the included piece of foam padding. So that's going to be the look. And then the receivers, this board is actually going to be rotated backwards because for the receiver cable to come out the back, but in the software you can just rotate the orientation. Then that's about it really for this video, I think. So the next one I'll be connecting up the servos and the motors, and then we might do a little bit of configuring. I'll do flashing the firmware onto the board and just do a little bit of setup. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.